Hello everyone, good evening and welcome to Roma Theory. De Rossi and Paolo literally just finished their press conference and I'm live. I don't want to keep this too long because it's Champions League night. Yesterday's Champions League evening was very successful. Entertainment at its max. Hopefully the games today are not going to disappoint. So I'm not going to keep this too long, 20 minutes, because it's an important press conference before a very important game which can mark our season, and most importantly, it can mark De Rossi's future. It literally just ended. De Rossi spoke with Dybala. I don't normally also speak about Dybala and what the players have to say in these press conferences, but there are a few quotes that I do want to keep because I find them very interesting about Paolo, about his future and about how he's developed a nice, great relationship with his new manager when he was actually depicted as seen as the guy who suffered the most from Mourinho being sacked. So without further ado, let's get into this. Don't forget to hit the like. Today, you have to hit the like for a very important date. The 10th of April of 2018. If you're a Roma fan, at 10 p.m, you all know what happened. Manolas head-butted that in at the back of the net and we beat Barcelona 3-0. That will forever be history. That will forever be written and implanted in our history books. And I think we're playing against Milan with this image to reminisce with this chapter of history that we've written. And therefore, De Rossi did touch on this in his press conference. The mentality needs to be the same. I want to see the same mentality that I, as well as Dzeko and all of the Roma players back then had in that game. I want to see it in this Milan tie. So it is an important date. 10th of April 2018. 6 years later, the effects are still the same. It's like watching a Hollywood movie. Every time I watch those clips, I get goosebumps. And yeah, if we can get 100 likes as always, it would be amazing. Right, first question is De Rossi's question. Do you feel you can play? Oh, no, sorry. First question is to Dybala. First question is for Paolo, and it was, what is different about De Rossi compared to Allegri and Mourinho? I think that unlike the other coaches, Daniele is starting. The comparison is difficult because you have named two coaches who have won a lot and one of them who has just started with their managerial career. Seeing Daniele every day and how he coaches and what he transmits to us and the fans and the team and what he gives us, because from when he arrived there was great enthusiasm. If he has this desire that he transmits to us every day, if he continues with this passion every day he wakes up, he has all it takes to reach the levels of Allegri and Mourinho. Again, this is the answer of a player who is not an unbalanced player. This is the answer of a player who doesn't want to disrespect his past. This is the answer of a player who is absolutely in love with his current manager and probably was also surprised to see how De Rossi is doing so well. But with this question, he's also not lacking respect because Dybala loved Allegri. Maybe out of the three, yes, Dybala had a few problems with Allegri towards the end of his Juventus period. But with Allegri, Dybala reached his prime. You know, Allegri was kind of the manager which made Dybala prime, and he was top 5 players in the world when Dybala was prime. So of course you can't lack respect. You can't disrespect the others just because De Rossi is your current one. Allegri made Dybala. Mourinho and Dybala had a magical bond, and as Roma fans we know this. In fact, we were scared that Dybala would have suffered from Mourinho being sacked. But now he's got De Rossi, and as always, De Rossi's got, according to Paolo, who sees him every day, wakes up with him every day. Like, not that sounds weird. Not wakes up with him in the same bed, but literally spends 24 hours every day with Daniele De Rossi in these past months. He's understood that the way De Rossi transmits this passion is something that can come very handy for a person who wants to become a top class manager. So yeah, it's very early with comparisons because two of them have won a lot. De Rossi just started, but if he continues like this, De Rossi is all it takes to reach those levels. So yeah, that's that. Then the second question is, of course, directed to De Rossi. At San Siro, you played a lot of games, and there were always challenges that you encountered with Roma coming to this stadium. Coming to San Siro in a new capacity and in a new dimension as a Roma manager and not a Roma player, what are your thoughts? It was a stadium that I wanted to revisit again. I was sorry that when I was appointed Roma manager, Roma had already played away from home at San Siro, both against Inter and Milan. But then the fate and our path in Europe allowed us to come back here and play in a stadium that perhaps conveys something different to me than all the others. Leaving aside the Olimpico and the Bombonera in Buenos Aires, which I feel are the closest stadiums which belong to me the most, I'd probably say that San Siro is the third stadium which means the most to me because it's a magnificent place to play football. It exudes glory. People who come to watch matches in this stadium have seen great footballers and great nights. And we are happy to be here and we want our dreams to continue here. I mean, this was more than this is not an analytical question. This was more of how it feels to be back, and yeah, it's a very important stadium in Italian culture. It's probably the temple of Italian culture. My lord, this dog sounds like a lion. What the actual hell did he do to him? My God, what did they give this dog to eat? It sounds like a rhino. But yeah, San Siro is important. Of course, Olimpico is De Rossi's home, De Rossi's first home, and La Bombonera del Boca Junior is his second home. Because De Rossi left Argentina with a very, very, very warm heart. He always mentions Boca, El Mate, Argentina. He always mentions Argentina in his interviews. You can really tell that experience that he had has changed him, and he remained really related to that because you can really see a man who is Romanista, but who's got Argentina and Boca Juniors in his heart. So yeah, after those stadiums, San Siro is probably the most important stadium in my career, and it's great to be back and all of that. Third question is, of course, directed to Dybala. Dybala, Paolo. How much can the future of this season influence your choices to stay here or not? In other words, let's rephrase this question. And this question is, if we don't get Champions League football, are you going to stay? If we get Champions League football, are you going to stay? That's basically what this question is. I feel great with De Rossi, and I would like to continue working with him. But now, we don't have to talk about my future. We have to talk about the match. We have an important match tomorrow for what our future can be. Of course, I feel great here, but some decisions don't depend on me. I was not expecting this answer. I have to be honest with you. I was not expecting this answer because players, before these very important games, don't normally speak about their future. If you ask this question to any player before a very important game in a European stage, this player will 100% say, I don't want to speak about my future. I want to speak about the game. And this is partly what Paolo did. But Paolo also said, I feel great with De Rossi, and I would like to continue working with him, and that some decisions don't depend on me. So what I see here is Dybala calling the Fredkins and asking them to extend his contract. This is very similar to what Mourinho did towards October, November, when Mourinho still didn't know that he was going to get sacked, and when Mourinho actually believed that the Fredkins could still potentially offer him a new contract. This is similar, because Dybala is calling the Fredkins to demand a new contract, which suggests to me, I want to stay. I want to keep on working with De Rossi, but some decisions don't depend on me. The Fredkins have got that because he earns a lot, and they just like the Dybala Mourinho scenarios are similar. which is why the Fredkins have doubts. If you don't get Champions League football, I'm not going to extend your contract, because to me, you're a Champions League player. You're going to bring this team to Champions League. So why am I keep on paying 8 million as wage for a player who doesn't bring me to the Champions Leagues? The Fredkins have got doubts, just like they had doubts with Mourinho. Dybala's calling. Fan pressure is going to put pressure on the board. And this, I want to continue with De Rossi and all of that, could also bring the Fredkins to a conclusion and extend his contract. Extend them both. Extend both DDR and PD21. And then, again, 2 more questions. The next question is to De Rossi. Do you feel you can play on an equal footing with Milan tomorrow? Well, tomorrow we won't pay attention to the league, or we don't have an advantage to recover, because Europa League and Serie A are 2 very different competitions. We are here and we have to play to get through to the next round. I've been reading on Instagram that Roma has nothing to lose in this game, but in fact Roma has everything to lose in this game, because we are not here to be extras. We are here to win and go through to the semi-finals. There is no draw here. And this is the big difference about a European game and a league game. There is no draw. Ultimately, tomorrow it can end as a draw. And ultimately, in the second leg, it can end as a draw. But then the draws get cancelled, because a draw doesn't exist in these games. It's either one team or the other team that goes through. So that's the biggest difference. Number 2, it's a game where we won't feel the pressure to recover points in the league, adjust league tables, because it's 2 legs, no table, no league. If I win these 2 legs, I go through. If I lose these 2 legs, I go home. And the last thing, which I think, again, this is De Rossi intelligence. I've read that, this is not me saying this, De Rossi said this in the press conference. I've been reading on Instagram comments, interviews saying that Roma has nothing to lose in this game. Kind of depicting Roma as, well, of course Milan are the favourites. If Roma qualify, it will be an absolute miracle. Roma has nothing to lose in this game. However it will go, it will go. And De Rossi corrected this and said, that's wrong, because Roma has everything to lose. And there's always this idea of, well, Roma's nothing to lose, Milan are miles better than Roma. And I agree, Milan are the favourites in this tie. I have no problem saying that. Milan are the favourites in this tie. But does that mean that you can cut us off? No, I don't think so. And there's a pressure. We reached the final last year and we won a trophy 2 years ago. We do have a pressure of, it's not pressure, it's not even a responsibility, it's need to make the fans happy again and keep this pattern going. If I made myself clear here. And then the last question is to De Rossi. Did you have to calm things down after the derby ecstatic celebrations? The victory in a derby in a city like Rome intoxicates us and the fans. But we have to keep our feet on the ground. There was no need to appease the team, and there was no need for me to tell the team stop celebrating, because winning a derby also means joy and enthusiasm. But and they deserved it, because on the pitch they were strong. Seeing them smile more doesn't make me think that they may be light or softer in tomorrow's game. But as always, there needs to be limits to everything. That game is gone. We won that game. That's a closed chapter. That's a closed story. Mancini getting a fine, 5k fine. That's a closed story. The fans prepared a GoFundMe to pay for Mancini's fine. That shows the levels of the quality and what it means to us Roma fans, protecting our own players and playing against everybody and everything. The Roma fan base created this GoFundMe to try and fund 5k to pay Mancini's fine. Mancini then obviously decided, no, I'm going to pay that fine myself. I want you to use that money to give it to charity. But there is something called moralism And Roma fans don't need moralism. Romanism today has won over moralism, because the more we speak about this, the more I feel sick that a player who waved the flag celebrating a derby victory got fined €5,000, and the player who plays for Inter, and therefore the superpower of this league, called a player with a racist phrase, and that investigation got ignored. There's a north-south divide. There's this constant licking the ass of Inter, just like the Premier League licks the ass of Man City. They're richer, they've got more power. They've also got more lack of credibility. This is an incompetent league. This organization of Italian football is run by incompetent people who don't know what they're doing in that job. And this is another example of this. So Romanism today has won over moralism, and we can all celebrate that. Of course, Mancini is a rich human being and is a smart and loyal human being. So he would have never said, oh, well, you paid a fine for me. But it's the action that counts. Mancini's going to pay for his fine himself. But still, there's, yeah. So that's it. Bring it on. Let's read some comments. Hello from Sweden. Simon, I hope we get a good result. I'll be going to Rome for the return leg to watch the game. Keep up the good work. Thank you very much, mate, and I hope you enjoy that. Maybe we can, maybe I'm gonna meet you, because I'm gonna be there too. Grande Simone, mio nonno dice che la Roma dovrebbe ingaggiarti. Grande Santiago. Roma is out big time, says Dembe Kalule. I don't care. I don't care what you think, mate. I absolutely don't care. Right. I'm gonna talk to you soon. Enjoy Champions League. Hit the like for the 10th of April. Flashback to 2018 and remember what happened. And hit the like if you're ready for tomorrow's game. And most importantly, hit the like today, because Romanism has won over moralism. Talk to you soon. Enjoy Champions League. Simo out.